Hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I'm here to bring you my first ever manga chapter review of Toriko. Toriko chapter 308. So glad to finally be caught up and actually be able to talk about Toriko, because I have a lot I want to talk about, but that's for, discussion videos later on. But this chapter of Toriko, as always, like from the recent chapters I read for a long time now, so much information in one chapter, so much going down in one chapter, it's so fucking beastly. And that's pretty much what this chapter was, chapter 308. So, right off the bat, I want to talk about the beginning, the first page. Now, the first page, it pretty much shows that the Yuma world is starting to get the gourmet world type ingredients. We see how Octo-chan is going back and forth to actually deliver gourmet world ingredients to actually give to the public. And from what we find out on the first page of this chapter is that the gourmet world ingredients are actually at a cheap price. For instance, the working class people, like an average civilian that works, can actually afford the ingredients like gourmet world ingredients to be able to eat at a restaurant, go cook yourself and stuff like that. So pretty much we find out how Yuma world is prospering since, four heavenly kings and stuff went inside gourmet world to start securing ingredients. Now, also, we find out that air was delivered in the Yuma world, and actually the IGO chief was given air. The new IGO chief was given air, and we see him how he eats air, and actually his gourmet cells react, and he gets another bulging fucking arm like, a demon. His demon comes out. So getting to see that, we really once again get to see the effects that air has on gourmet cells and stuff like that. And so the IGO chief now has slightly stronger gourmet cells since he ate air. Now, past Yuma World, pretty much besides Yuma World getting ingredients from Gourmet World and, they're starting to prosper and stuff, we move on into finding out that some of the most famous people for the course of Toriko has now came to the Gourmet World to help out Toriko and give the four heavenly kings their backup. For instance, Rin is also in Gourmet World. I'm like, what? What? So, Rin is now in Gourmet World. I'm curious to see if we're going to get any, romance. Because, I remember that one chapter. I never got to talk about it, but that one chapter, a while back, about 40 or 50 chapters ago, dude, that freaking romance between Rin and Toriko, I'm like, damn. So, hopefully, Rin and Toriko might have more romance moments in the future. But, Toriko's not really about the romance. But, anyways, moving past that, we find out a bunch of chefs that pretty much came to Gourmet World. Even Shin, the master of food honor that taught Toriko, is also in Gourmet World. And he actually brings up discussion, which we'll talk about in a little bit in this video. But we find out a bunch of these people are here to actually give backup to the four heavenly kings. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what role they are going to play in the very future of Toriko. Now, with this chapter, we find out that the chefs and all that were actually sent to Gourmet World for backup. They're trying to set up like a safe route to get to Area 7. For instance, they can't get to Area 7 since, as we know, the Rainbow Road that's pretty much made by Hercules himself has long disappeared since then. And the clouds are still cleared, and there's not much rain or any gloomy shit in the sky to kill everybody like the laser rain. Oh my god, the laser rain. But pretty much now, since the entire area is clear, they still need to figure out how can they possibly get to Area 7 since the Rainbow Road technically disappeared. So with this actual chapter, you have it to where Setsuno's disciple pretty much actually says, oh, I can make some land. I can make land. I will use my ability that can make ice. And so we're going to have it to where Nono can actually make an ice land. So that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see exactly how her ability really is. Because, I don't think we've ever seen her ability showcased through the course of Toriko. I don't think we ever have. I think this is the first time her ability has actually been revealed. Now, getting back on the discussion with Chin. Now, Chin pretty much talks to, the chief of the Bewitching Food Village and says, like, did you really send him? Did you send him to that place? And the place that we see, oh my god, the artwork. I just want to take a moment to say, the artwork on that Umiyama, that, oh my fucking god, that artwork was just insane. The artwork, I have to say, when it comes to Toriko, it has some really crazy artwork, and the mangaka of the series does some badass artwork. I want to discuss that real quick. That mountain, when you saw the effects and the lighting and stuff in the background, and you see how the mountain, like this water mountain and the lightning effects and stuff, that just looks so kick-ass. And if you have it to where Buranche actually is going up the mountain with his lightning to deliver air. Now, here is the interesting part about this chapter, and it's one of the main central parts that goes down in this chapter besides the dining planet. Buranche actually is delivering air to Midora. I'm like, what? What? So, here's the thing, okay? With this chapter, pretty much Toriko tells Barache to deliver air to Midora. That's what Toriko said. And he made a deal with him. And the thing was, we do know that technically Toriko talked with him a long time ago. It was, you know, with the time skip before Act 2 technically began. So that means that most likely Toriko is going to be giving Akashia's full course to Midora through the course of his journey. And if he does do that, he's going to be powering up Midora while he journeys around. That's interesting. I cannot wait to see exactly what Toriko really has in mind. I mean, it was a deal that Toriko made. I don't know if the deal was technically made because he allowed Toriko to get Komatsu back, or is there something else going along the lines there? Because, I mean, there's a lot of mysteries around that entire conversation I'm wondering about, but to see that element of how Barache was delivering air to him, and technically he enters the mountain, like, hole in the, like, Umiyama, damn, like... Can't wait to see. I really, really hope Toriko does not skip over that conversation. Like, I really want to see that conversation that Midora and Barache is going to have. Because, I mean, Barache, with his attitude and his personality up against Midora, one of the strongest people in the world, oh yeah, I gotta see that conversation. I really want to see that conversation. And I actually want to see the new state of the Gourmet Corps, actually, now. Since this is the new headquarters of Gourmet Corps, I'm like, okay, it's cool. That's fucking cool. They're in a giant-ass water mountain. What a badass base. Like, damn. I love the Gourmet Corps' bases. Like, damn, did you remember the last base? It was like that giant plant thing that broke. I love Gourmet Corps' bases. I do. And to see now Midora's in a fucking water mountain, I'm like, damn. Okay, moving past that point, let's get on to the real big beef of this chapter. Dining planet. This right here, we get more pretty much Blue Nitro conversations going on in this chapter. And when I see Blue Nitro and I see, you know, Joa actually talking, that's when my hype increases, because usually their dialogue has a lot of importance and a lot of foreshadowing or something going on in the future that we should definitely expect. And with this chapter, there was a lot of setup, like a lot of setup, and a lot of talks and a lot of connections between earlier parts of Toriko, even in the Ozone Herb arc. Like, oh my god, that freaking Nitro that was in the Ozone Herb arc, that, you know, technically Toriko and Komatsu saw and witnessed, that was alive. I remember that. I fucking remember that. I remember reading that, watching that in the anime, and to see how that Nitro is actually the Nitro, a blue Nitro at that, in the Dining Planet, I'm like, whoa! I just like, damn! I did not expect that shit. And when I saw how it mentioned that Toriko and Komatsu was a good pair at the end, I'm like, okay. Okay. So, with the conversation, Joa pretty much mentions that he wants to go get air. He's going to go steal air. But the Blue Nitro actually in this chapter states like, no, we'll wait until the solar eclipse comes around, and when the time of the eclipse is about here, we will go steal it at the time around that time. So, pretty much we find out that the Blue Nitro and Joa is going to be going to get air very soon. And they're going to be getting it for themselves. And they also were the ones that technically sent the kill order on Komatsu, because Komatsu cooked air that good. Like, he's a danger, he's a threat as a chef. And so, pretty much, they are frightened, technically, of Komatsu. Now, there's some interesting dialogue with the Blue Nitro that really stood out. Out of the entire conversation, there was one specific line that just stood out. And one of the older-looking Blue Nitros actually states that I really want to taste this entire planet's full course. And we see the full course's names and stuff all in the background. And what is interesting is that dialogue. That dialogue is weird. It stands out. It really stands out. Now, I don't know necessarily if it's ever been hinted or told at. Like, I don't know if it has. I know there's, like, on a planetary scale, there's stuff like that when it comes to Toriko. Because, I mean, we have to where the gourmet cells pretty much, like, an essence of the gourmet cells came from space. I don't know if it was ever theorized, mentioned, or whatever, multiple chapters back. But with that dialogue, it makes me assume that the Blue Nitro are from outer space or something. Because with the way that dialogue was. The way it was. I could be wrong. Like I said, don't butcher me if I'm wrong. Please don't. But that's what the dialogue makes me believe. Now, past that, we get into the entire factors of with Toriko, Zera, Sunny, and Coco pretty much going up the mountain, 100G mountain, and they're like bosses walking up that mountain. They get to the top, and Bombina is not there at all. Bombina is not there. But I think I know where Bombina's at, because at the end, the final panel of this chapter, you see a shining light in the sky right above Toriko, so it makes me assume that Bombina's probably jumped really high in the air and he's coming back down, because you have a wrestling ring put in the middle of the fucking mountain. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, a wrestling ring is in the middle of the mountain, and I'm going to assume that we're going to get to see a wrestling match with Bombina and Toriko, Sunny, Coco, stuff like that. That's gonna... I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, we know Bombina is playful. We know for a fact he is. So, guess we're going to get to see a wrestling match. Can't wait to see that. I mean, that's... yeah. 0.1 seconds. Remember that, Toriko. 0.1 seconds, and you all were fucked when he was playing hide-and-go-seek. So... let's see, maybe this time he might survive 0.3 seconds? It might be possible, but I mean, if you're in a wrestling match, you're actually going to be up against this dude physically. Pretty much wrestling with this monkey, and that doesn't sound too fucking pleasant, I'm going to be honest, so we'll have to see. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. This is going to conclude my first ever Toriko review. Hopefully you all enjoyed my review. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.